Welcome back, ladies and gents, to the Intel Extreme Masters San Jose qualifier, and we, for the second time today, are going to be going into a very, very tense third game in a best of three, featuring this player in the top left corner of Nimbus. He spawns as the Red Terran. He's currently teamless, and he's showing us some fantastically skilled and very entertaining games here, so advertising himself very well. But his tournament life's on the line. The loser of this game goes home. It is Happy. And his opponent spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Nimbus as the blue Zerg player, winning game 1, losing game 2, and now fighting to stay in the running for one of those spots in December's San Jose Intel Extreme Masters event. Can he do it? Representing Team Liquid, it is TLO, the little one. And well, what a series we've had, ladies and gents. The winner of this is going to go up against My Insanity's Saxry, given it's gone to game 3. I actually expect, unless the mainstream is covering it, we're going to be going straight into that series as well, so we will get to follow this storyline to the end, whoever ends up winning this game 3. Two extremely popular players in Europe, and Happy just showcasing why he is always to be feared. No matter who you're playing against. In fact, on a good day, like, he can take games off of anyone. And hey, if beating MMA isn't enough testament to that, then I don't really know what is. So we've got the in-base expansion coming out this time from TLO. We've seen him once already today try and go for an early pull to harass something like this, and it's actually ended up working well for him, but this time around he's not going to be doing something like that. Happy is also going for that command center first. No gas, of course, and he will be putting down his barracks next to this supply depot shortly. And I believe you only need the single supply depot and barracks to wall off on this map. So going to be a little bit safer as well once that goes up, because it just means the wall is complete very, very early on indeed. Gas coming up behind that, by the way, so not immediately going up to a couple more barracks, a la MMA style, for example. And in the meantime, we have gas completing for TLO, as well as a spawning pool mostly complete. Alrighty then, so a little bit of a breather early on in this game. Guys, hope you've been enjoying everything. We've also got the mainstream, of course, at ESL TV. They're streaming the winner brackets games at the moment. I am covering basically all the games that they're not, because they popped in to the winner bracket semi-finals and were working their way down from there. So we'll see what the situation is after this game, but hopefully you're enjoying both streams. If you've got two screens, you should be having both of them up. Apollo and Kalaris casting the other stream. So go ahead and give them some love. If people are asking where to watch this particular game, you can direct them to twitch.tv/Jorasar. And I will be checking, of course, my Twitter at /Jorasar after every series. So go ahead and check that out as well. We have the first Marine here, just scouting for Overlords from Happy. Very, very sensible decision. It's not going to quite get there yet, though, as TLO now just starting to move into the actual expansion. The second Marine might have an idea for what he wants to do there, and we are going to be seeing the reactor go down on that barracks there. So a Hellion follow-up looks to be pretty guaranteed. And this Overlord is going to spot that the command center is... Ooh, well, he spots that there's a mule already mining. So for those of you who go, why did he move back before he saw the building? It's because he wants to keep an eye, has anyone noticed this, on the most badass starport ever. Isn't this amazing? You can basically build a battle cruiser out of that in about 3 seconds flat. That's like Odin meets starport. I want to be building whatever comes out of this building. I'll tell you what, the single-player campaign against Hybrid would be a lot easier if I had this little guy floating around. And doesn't that actually look like a starport on top of that massive... You know, Thor, the most recent Thor movie? That basically looks like the tower from the most recent Thor movie. I'm getting my terminology mixed up, but I'm sure you guys know what I mean here. Right, off the back of this, we've got the third base going down for TLO. And a bunch of Zerglings just working away at that debris, not wanting to get choked in at any point, because concaves plus DPS equals danger, danger for a Zerg player here. Just want to be as open as possible so you can wrap your army around the opponents. And otherwise, not too much out of the ordinary going on right now. No Roach Warren or anything like that going down for TLO. We're not seeing a super early attack, and actually off the back of this we've got double engineering bay coming down for Happy as well. His third command center is about to finish, so very, very macro heavy. He wants to go to double upgrades, he wants to get that third base down, and he's definitely not going to put on a big attack anytime soon. We can tell you that much from looking at what this game is like so far. In the meantime, for TLO, let's take a look at those gases. We've got one in the main, one in the natural, so useful against Terran scans, I suppose. Double evolution chamber and the Baneling nest coming out now as well. Third base is going to go down for him, and he's starting to spread creep like an absolute madman. He's probably going, well, hang on a second, I expect harassment coming out right about now. Where on earth is it? And we are going to see 4 Hellions come out, but perhaps it's because he's just been so macro-centric. He's going for those double upgrades in addition to that third base, that Happy's just delaying his harassment just a bit. He's actually got Hellions right next to the watchtower here. It could have been held by Lings, but it's not going to be. And we'll be able to move on to try and do a bit of harassment against TLO, who sends a single Speedling out to see what is going on right now, and we'll be able to spot that the third base is already down and on the low ground. So here come the Hellions. We can see them moving on to creep right now. I believe spot the creep tumor, spot the spore crawler as well, so TLO potentially anticipating a Banshee follow-up here. He's going to try and get in on this side, but we can see several Queens already denying him access to that. That single Ling is going to nibble away at the orbital command, and potentially against a couple of the SCVs, and, well, that's caused them to go running scared, but a couple of Marines will be able to come to their aid, and things look just fine. Now, we have the reactor going down on the factory. We've also got one already on the starport, by the way, which means, of course, no tech lab, no Banshees or anything like that in this particular game. And a lot of stuff building right now. It looks like we're going to be going for a big timing. The armory's on its way, an additional factory, by the way, but also more barracks with reactors on them. This looks like it could end up being a big Marine tank or Hellbat tank push. So let's keep an eye on that one. We've got multiple factories and a lot of barracks here. So I'm not committing to one or the other at this moment in time. TLO is continuously doing more and more with his creep spread. We've got Burrow on the way for potential Baneling landmines. I mean, he knows how many scans that took out of Happy in the previous game, and it's possibly just completely worth it to make sure that his opponent has to scan 3 or 4 times just to do each attack. It makes resupplies after each battle extremely difficult for a Terran player, because you're just not able to build up a bank nearly as effectively. Missile turret going up against potential Muta harassment here in the third base location, but we can see the Spire for TLO actually is only just now about a quarter of the way complete. So it's going to be a little while before potential stuff like that starts happening. Happy in the meantime just scouting around, trying to spot random overlords and also Lings that might be scouting his bases, wanting to take as many of those out as possible. But TLO is doing a good job of constantly sending units out. You can see here just wanting to make sure he gets as much vision of the map as possible as he moves forward. And now we've got the 2-2 on the way for the bio army of Happy. So he's not going to try and do any sort of game-ending stuff right now. He's actually stimming forward to attack that Overlord, which with Overlord speed, I guess, is just about okay. The Medevacs have enough energy to handle that. And he's got I love this from TLO. So he stims in, kills off the Overlord, and then TLO is now anticipating a single SCV to go and try and put down a base. And you know what? His Lings say absolutely not. So he stayed there as well and burrowed a couple, forcing a scan for when this base gets taken as well. Another scan, and he actually sees the Banelings this time. Does he suspect another Baneling landmine? I don't know, but he's going to be stimming and trying to focus his attention on this fourth base. There is no Baneling speed at the moment. Wow, all of them blow up simultaneously and not on the Marines, but it's not going to be enough because so many Speedlings take out the rest of the Marines just fine. They comfortably get surrounded. TLO is currently at 140 supply versus 100. Not a major loss for Happy. He's still got all of his medevacs. His army supply is 42, though, against 70, and he needs to make sure he holds choke points, basically, against his potential Ling Bling counter-aggression coming out from TLO. And you can see it right now. Baneling speed isn't even on the menu at the moment, by the looks of things. It's not even being researched just yet. There we go. It has now started. Mutalist transition coming down now, as well as that flyer attacks. 2-2 melee is probably about an in-game minute from completing. So if TLO wants to hit this timing slightly stronger, I think he would wait for the 2-2 to just just about finish, and potentially bailing speed as well, before trying to roll into the third base of Happy, and it looks like that's what he's going to do. In the meantime, a lot of Hellbats coming out in addition to that bio, so going into that bio mech style we've been talking about previously, and we've seen from Happy so far today. No Thors just yet, of course. He hasn't seen the evidence of the Mutalisks, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of those a little bit later on as well. 2 Marines actually moving around to check if there are any units left, but he didn't scan, and therefore those 2 Borrowedlings are going to be really annoying. Constant scans now as he moves out, taking up Baneling landmines, and also active creep tumors in addition to that Queen. But we have a small skirmish going on here. Ooh, very nice. Baneling landmines taking out a couple of people. That's what TLO is saying will happen if Happy doesn't constantly scan everywhere. And of course, he doesn't want to constantly scan everywhere as well. It just makes things so frustratingly annoying. He sees Mutalisks now, and there is a Thor in production, predictably. 3-3 on the way for Happy, though. So both sides are at 2-2. We've got more mech coming out from Happy, and we've got the plus attack upgrades rather than the defensive ones, which means that these Hellbats are going to be able to do an awful lot of damage. And you know what, picking off this Overlord, waiting for the creep to rescind, I'm worried that that's not going to do anything, although thankfully a missile turret's going down, and that will spot the Zerglings that are burrowed here as well, so hopefully a scan won't be required. Now we've got TLO moving left of the map with a bunch of Mutalisks, going to be joined by a second flock. That is quite a lot here, guys. There are 20 Mutalisks on the field. He's at 78 drones versus 64 SCVs, which is perfectly acceptable, by the way, with the mules. And now, well, the missile turret's up. Are the Lings still there? No, they've just been killed. Great. But the missile turret here is definitely going down, and we need Thor is here to stop these mutas from doing additional damage. The creep spread from TLO has also been great. We've seen some incredible games with Vortex, if you guys remember earlier, where his creep spread was absolutely insane. It looks like TLO is trying to emulate that here. Creep spread was being active absolutely everywhere. He's saying, hey, I'm going to do everything in my power to force you to scan as many times as possible, and this planetary fortress at the 4th base is going to force even more scans coming out. Great spot on those Baneling landmines, although that last one does land a hit on a couple of those Marines. He's now moving forward into the middle of the map, while this Ling Mutaflock might be able to get... No, he's not going to get some pot shots off on there. He's actually trying to surround the army right now. And here we go, coming in from 2 sides. The main army actually is behind, which means that the army on the left gets completely destroyed from Happy. But now he moves in with a lot of heavy hitting units. He's also got control of the watchtower. He's going to try and pick apart as many of these creep tumors as he can. Is it going to be enough? The Mutalisks are with the main army now, by the way. I was looking to see if they were harassing somewhere. It doesn't look like it at the moment. More and more Overlords going down. TLO currently supply blocked, but he is supply blocked on 193, so it's not too bad. 3-3 is also about to complete here for Happy, so he's going to have a maximum strength bio army here with these Thors, with these Hellbats in just a little moment, and the Mutas are once again going to be flying around to try and see if they can pick off some stuff in the other side. Pathogen Glands has just completed for TLO. I'm really excited to potentially see Infestus here. Ultralist Transition also coming in. I think he just wants to be able to transition to whatever he wants, whenever he wants right now. And this army from Happy pushing out. He's actually starting to develop a bank, and he's moving out through the middle of the map with those Blue Flame Hellbats, with that 3-3 bio, and he's looking pretty formidable right now. He's trying to trade space for time. We have a drop here that gets completely shut down and cleaned up, but possibly at the expense of the 7 o'clock base. There is nothing defending this hatchery. Yes, there's an Ultralist basically on no health and a couple of Banelings morphing in, but I guarantee you this hatch is going down before any sort of fight begins. Those Blue Flame Hellbats completely destroy those Broodlings, and TLO looking like he wants to surround these. A lot of Baneling landmines on the retreat here, and here we go. The army's coming in from the right-hand side. It's not enough, actually, to force Happy to retreat up the ramp. If he forces him to retreat up the ramp, that's an awful lot of Banelings that could go off, but it's not happening just yet. TLO positioning his army well, but... oh, not quite able to make that work, unfortunately. So, Happy's going to be able to get away without stepping on those Baneling landmines just yet. The army for TLO now moving around the planetary fortress location, but there are so many missile turrets there that the Mutalisks won't be able to engage, at least initially. So many Baneling landmines on the retreat route here, by the way. TLO has been busy while losing that hatchery. Good scan, and now Happy knows nowhere is safe. Because it's normal to scan for Baneling landmines moving forward, guys, but if you think about it, it's very rare that we have players scanning for Baneling landmines when they retreat. TLO has been so active in putting these Banelings down that Happy actually has to do both if he wants to make sure he doesn't sneakily get set upon by a massively large army. Trying to tempt Happy into more Baneling landmines. This time, it looks like it's going to work. There are 4 of them that could blow up right now, and yes! Come on! There's the first 2, there's the second 2. Okay, not the greatest, admittedly. Mainly Marauders on top of those. but we didn't have a simultaneous engagement from the rest of the army. TLO looking like he wants to sandwich this. He's got Banelings and Ultralisk on one side, he's got Banelings and Mutalisk on the other, and Happy trying his best to engage, and here comes the army from both sides right now. The Muta's actually moving away, not wanting to take those damage from the Thors. The Ultra's coming back from over here, and wow, the Mutas have actually taken quite a lot of damage right now. Is TLO going to be able to break through here? Those Ultras able to attack an awful lot of damage, and here come the rest of the Banelings. They need to not go off against the Thors, doing a good job against the rest of the bio, and it looks like he's barely going to be able to hold this. Is Happy. TLO down to 126 supply, Happy on 153. An incredibly close game here. TLO's creep spread still fantastic. A drop going down at this base location is going to get cleaned up as well at the same time, and a potential command center going down here after that Zergling gets put down. So Happy continuing to try and macro behind us, but look at this flood of units coming in from TLO. Yes, he's broke. No, he doesn't have a bank, but he is constantly being active with his units. Do we have a couple of Baneling landmines? Yeah, a couple of them went off there, but here is a sizable 3-3 bio army. Is TLO going to be able to take it on? He's definitely going to try. We need a couple of good hits from those Banelings there, but they're stuck behind the rest of the army right now. Is it even going to matter? More reinforcements coming in from the back, and a lot of DPS being done by Happy, but 2 Ultralisks are still alive. The Medivacs are coming in too, though, and a lot of Baneling landmines, and TLO looking like he's slowly losing this position. He's down to 116 supply, and he's flat out broke right now. He is continuing to get an income, but he's got a massive army that is just constantly being whittled down. He's down to 5 Mutalisks right now, and that really means he's going to seriously struggle to get harassment damage done while the rest of these armies are engaging each other. This is very close, but I have to say Happy at the moment is looking like he has a big edge. He needs to translate it into a win, and there are still many ways TLO can win this game. Basically, a couple of Baneling landmines could actually turn this game if, for example, he steps on 6 of them at once and destroys everything but the Thors. The Ultras can then mop up, but for now, TLO is in retreat. It looks like he's going to try and take this engagement once again. There are no siege tanks, by the way, in this composition just yet, so he's having to push into Hellbats and Thors. But he's really struggling right now. He's on 57 workers, and he's 70 supply down on his Terran opponent. That said, Happy's not yet comfortable moving out onto creep. He's having a very difficult time doing that right now. It looks like a Pateri Fortress, he's had enough of this, is going to go down at this location. But a bunch of links, TLO being so good at multiple locations on the map, is going to stop that. A drop at the 7 o'clock base, another drop over here, by the way, at the 4 o'clock position is going to go down. It's whether this hatchery goes down that is the question. Yes, it is going to go down. Wow, how quickly do those Ultras take out those Marines? But the hatchery, crucially, is what ended up going down there. It looks like this drop's going to comfortably get cleaned up because the medevac is going down as well. And once again, we reach a situation where TLO is going to find it difficult to take base. He's still mining from this space. He's still got a couple of low mineral patches at his main. Natural's more or less mined out. He basically needs to retake either this space or perhaps one further out into the center of the map, which frankly he can't reach at the moment, and keep a hold of it if he wants to maintain an income beyond 5 minutes from now, I would say, in this game. We're currently hitting the 25-minute mark in this game so far. It's been an incredibly epic series. This medevac's going to go down. TLO's in the process of shutting down Happy's drops, which stops his maneuverability a lot. It looks like this command center is going to take a while before going down as well, and more orbital commands are being produced now so that Happy can start sacking SCVs and focus into getting a much higher 3-3 huge DPS army. We're actually seeing the +1 vehicle weapons come out now, and that's because we already have +3 vehicle attack. Very scary army coming out from Happy right now. It's bio mech, but it's 3-3 bio and 3-1 mech in just a second. We even have speed Widowmine burrowing coming out now. We haven't seen Widowmines this series use that effectively so far, but you know what? If you get burrowed Banelings, I feel like I should be able to too, and mine are reusable. Reuse? What was it? Reuse, recycle. Oh, I can't remember what the third one is, but basically Widowmines are environmentally friendly, guys, is what I'm trying to say here. We have Infestors with this army now as well. Now, Fungal Growth, some great Fungal Growth could actually change the course of the game here. Fantastic Fungal on that medevac. He's not quite able to finish off the Thor. Oh, never mind, just about managed to do so. And here comes what might be the final engagement of the game. A lot of mutas going down initially, and we've got some Ultras tanking the damage with some great fungal growth, but it's not quite enough to stop the healing from these medevacs, and TLO is down to 104 supply versus 183 from Happy. The little one could be bowing out of the tournament at this stage. We have Marauders stimming and trying to kill off the Infestors. It's going to be enough. GG from TLO, and Happy, ladies and gentlemen, advances in the lower bracket to face Saxry in the LB round of 4.